Hey guys, welcome to the Nick Bahe YouTube page. You know what you need to do. You need to subscribe, you need to ring the bell, you need to like the page, you need to leave a comment. I appreciate you. All right, we're back. Oh my God, we're wearing the exact same clothes.
We need to change.
We changed into different, we're like cartoon characters. We open the closet and it's all the same stuff. We're back though.
You know what though? Some people do that. Like
We're the same thing every day?
Yeah.
I would like that.
It's all those tech guys. It's like, I wear jeans and a black t-shirt
Right.
because I don't want to have to think about, I don't want to spend any energy on what I'm going to wear. And it's like, it's not that much energy, is it? Like, it's like, I mean, I get it. It's like, it'd be nice. Like, hey, you never have to worry about anything, but like, not that hard.
You were lucky. Not everybody's born with like, I don't know. It's fascinating how you were born with a fashion sense that I just don't, I never really.
So you think you don't got a little bit of like you got a little style?
I mean, I don't really have a style. I mean, do I have a style?
Don't think so?
Not really.
I wouldn't call you unstyling. Like,
no, but I mean, like it's not natural. You know,
That's a good question.
But I just think in general, it does take a lot of thought to figure out what the hell you're gonna wear.
You want to go be the black t-shirt guy?
No, I mean, see, I guess you know what I wanted. Like right now, I got basketball shorts on and this Shoot 360 shirt that I'll tell you about here in a second. Again, I'd rather wear this or like a suit.
Oh,
I'm one of those guys. I either want to be like super comfortable or like let's do it. Like I'm not but you know what? True style lives in between.
I feel like I'm slipping because I don't spend much time in between either. Like no. I mean, laying around the house. When I'm around the house, I don't spend 1 second in something that's not comfy. Like
I don't understand people I don't understand. Like, do people the second I get home? Let's say I got to go out and like dress like presentable. The second I get home, I'm taking off my clothes and putting on comfortable clothes.
Sometimes I'll have my work stuff on, and I gotta stop home for like 2 hours. I'll take it off.
Oh yeah,
and like, and then put it back on to go back out.
Like, do people like our friend Bub, Stylish McGee? Like, is he rocking like nice denim jeans in the house with
he
like
put his jeans on after he worked out at the gym to go home in his jeans?
See, I don't understand that.
And I was thinking about this. Like, he does look better, but I would never be in those jeans right now.
Never,
not
ever,
comfortable
ever.
enough.
No,
but it is. I think that's the mark of like someone with style always is kind of in that.
Right.
But you know what, in the old days, so I don't know, the 80s or 70s, like everybody wore nice things anytime you left the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you meet somebody in their 80s, they're going to be in a button up and a tucked in it's going to be tucked into their shirt. Like it might be a short sleeve, but it's a short sleeve button up. They're not wearing t-shirts.
Well, I think
what I'm saying?
I think one of the most everything now, and I'm victim of this. Everybody wants like everything they wear. It's got to be like have that like stretchy to it. Like everybody, a shirt's got to have the stretchy. Like that's the whole like anything now. It's like check it out.
They call it
like,
athleisure.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, that they all want that. So, but yeah, I don't
know how I feel about. I got like a pair or two of those like those kind of pants for work, and it's good for like long road trips. But sometimes I'm like, I'm in stretchy work pants. I kind of don't like it. They are nice for situations, but
well, I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what shirt feels good? My Shoot 360 shirt feels great. I got to tell you about it real quick, people. Big news for the Lincoln basketball community coming this October. It's coming. No, it's not Halloween. It's the Shoot 360, the world's most advanced basketball training facility. It's coming right to our hometown in Lincoln, Nebraska. Shoot 360 is a national franchise. It's taking the basketball skill development world by storm, rapidly grown to over 40 locations across the country. Whether you're a young player just beginning to fall in love with the game or a lifetime basketball junkie like me, I love basketball. You see Kobe, you see all this stuff. I love basketball. It's the only thing I've ever loved my entire life. It's just the best. Doesn't matter. Skill development going to get you where you need to get to. It's going to improve your game, bring a smile to your face. It's going to blow your mind. The technology is remarkable. I'm going to be rolling out more information as we make our way to grand opening. In the meantime, go to shoot360.com/Lincoln. More information there. Plus, there's good videos there. And follow us on social media, Shoot 360 Lincoln. Look forward to seeing everybody at Shoot 360 Lincoln in October. It will unlock your game. Okay, Ruud. Can we start with we're gonna talk about the offense and the defense, but I want to start with this real quick. I don't know if we've talked about this. The single digit thing for Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
What do you think of it? So for people that don't know, I'm gonna get like the way I understand is Matt Rule has had a tradition where he doesn't like having these incoming freshmen get to choose, like, I want to be number one, I want to be number whatever. And he feels like a way to reward the toughest players on the team is to have them vote, and the toughest players on the team get a single digit jersey. So that's kind of the
yeah.
What do you think of it?
I've thought about this a lot because I think I'm always a little skeptical of the new coaches' traditions because it kind of works sometimes against the historic traditions. And so I've thought about this one quite a bit. I thought, okay, how do I feel about this? And I've kind of come to the conclusion, like, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Kids love numbers. What I like is that it's something you have to earn, right? So I come from the world of the black shirt, right? So I respect that. Those things are earned, same with the black shirts. My one gripe is coming from a defensive guy. Like, the black shirts were the one thing we've kind of done that with on the team. And now this is like another thing, right? So I don't think you want too many of these things. I think it's okay to be like, okay, we can do both of these. The offensive guys get their kind of their thing, but the unfortunate part is the O linemen can't get one. But yeah, I think for me, I was a little just like, I don't want it to take away from the black shirts.
Yeah, I guess I never
like
thought about that.
That
do you think it takes away from it? Do you think those two?
It doesn't have to, but I think it's like, it's almost now like if you earn a black shirt and a 10 digit, right? Like,
I never looked at it from that perspective. And I mean, it is kind of like, it's a black, if the single digit jersey thing and the black shirts, they're maybe not like brother and sister, they're cousins though.
They're cousins. That's right. It's not like they don't really work together, but it's fine. The way I see it, it's like, all right, this is Rule's thing. It's about toughness. It's about your teammates are voting, right? Your teammates vote. I like anything that your teammates vote for because it puts the emphasis on hard work and toughness. And guys do, like, they want that. You want what they're desiring to be, the great qualities, which are those things.
I'm not a former black shirt, so I think everybody's jaded in their own way. And jaded, I don't mean that in a negative term. I just think like that's the world you came from. There's no family on earth more synonymous with the black shirts than the Ruuds, period. But I didn't come at it from that perspective. I have grown to really like it. I think a couple of things. When you're in a leadership position, you are in the business of rewarding things, whether you like it or not. Yeah. And I love rewarding toughness and having it on display, not only for behind the scenes, but for everybody.
Yeah.
Where, okay, you think you're a badass, you think you're a hard rocking dude. Well, when you run out in front of 90,000 people on national TV, your teammates didn't vote you one of the badass dudes.
Yeah.
Like, so I kind of like it. I like that it is rewarding toughness. It's voted by the teammates, and it's something that is on display the entire year. And I would think that is going to pump confidence into the people that get voted on it and rock a single digit jersey. And I would think it would motivate the people that don't have it to try to maybe one day get it too.
That's perfectly said. And so for me, like, that was one of my big gripes about sometimes the black shirts. I felt like there's coaches that have come along. They're like, oh, this is the tradition I kind of have to do. And they don't really understand it. And to me, it's like, that's why you can have more than 11 black shirts, but it should be really hard to do that. It should be almost like you most of the time you almost can't get all 11,
Mhm.
or if you do, you barely like
or like it better be the 95 Huskers had 11 black shirts. You know what I mean?
It's like the nickel guy and the
Yes.
and the other D linemen are getting them because they're like, you truly can't tell who the starter is, but they are like, they should be a black shirt. Like, it's more, that's why I like the numbers. It's like they are this kind of guy. They are a Husker. They are what we believe they should stand for. So in a lot of ways they are the same thing. Just the single digits, it's more about the number versus black shirts.
It is the more I think about it, it is the black shirts a little bit.
It's kind of it's similar. That's my only gripe with is it's like it's kind of that, except for it's for the whole team.
That's the only thing I was going to say is I always wonder the one thing that's nice about it is like you can be. I'm trying to think. You could probably list somebody on offense over the time being there. We could find anybody like Corey Schlesinger was a black shirt.
Yes.
But he didn't play defense, so he wasn't a black shirt.
Yeah.
And if it's
Eric Crouch
was a black shirt.
Yeah.
There's some dudes that are black shirts, but they can't be a black shirt. Yeah. So one thing that's nice about this single digit thing is that it opens things up for everybody to a certain extent. But it's weird. I still like it, but the more we're talking about it, the more I'm like, this is very similar to the black shirts.
If we didn't have the black shirts, this thing's the biggest slam dunk in the world. I love it. I'd love it for that. But with the black shirts, I mean, this is probably just my own feelings towards it. I just don't want it to take away from what the black shirts stand for. Like if this becomes like the thing that everybody's into, it's just a little different.
I'm a little nervous that it's going to naturally do that now that I think about it.
And kids love numbers, right? Kids love the idea of the coolness of a single digit number. Like it just plays right into kids' psyches.
So 32 was, that Jim Brown.
Yeah.
If you like Reimer got a single digit number.
Yes.
If Reimer had a number he wanted that wasn't a single, can you accept the single digit number but then not wear it? Does that make sense? Like,
I think that'd be disrespectful. I think you gotta take the single digit.
I also kind of like that it equally rewards people being obsessed with numbers and also erodes it of like, don't get caught up on, I want to be number 21. I want to be number 35. Like,
yeah, but I also think that
I love how deep we're getting in this. This is good.
There's
a lot to it.
There's a lot to it. I think here's what I've always thought. I always thought whoever picks number 1, they're usually a certain kind of guy, right?
You think they're a cocky,
usually
number 1's a pretty cocky dude.
Cocky or the confident dude, like you pick number 1, right?
Right.
So like, I don't know. I mean, it's also a little bit of an equalizer. Like, guys, I think is it like Hutmacher's like, the polar bear is like a number 0 or something, isn't he? Like, or is he like a?
Yeah, he was. I can't remember now. I just remember Reimer was 4.
Yeah.
Sims is 7. So Isaac Gifford might be 2.
Yeah, so it's kind of good. It's also like it gets a little bit less on just who's the cockiest guy and more like who. It's kind of nice. I think in that part I like it, but I don't know. I think we've got the pipeline, so they kind of got their thing with that, the black shirts, and now we have the single digits. I just think it's like before. There's just a lot of things. Then it's like it's just one more thing.
It is another thing.
I'm not going to hate on it because I think what it stands for is good. It's about toughness.
Yes,
that's good. It's about hard work. It's about the guys that do the right things. I'm a fan of it, so I will not put down anything that's like it's symbolizing the right stuff. So,
but I also think I think this is also symbolic in that for a long time, some people would argue that Nebraska needed to not remember the past, but not be a prisoner of the past. And not to say I've never been one of those guys who's like, you got to do away with the black shirts. I don't like that. But I do think you have to be open to a new coach coming in and wanting to do their own thing.
Yes.
So I think it's good in that regard. And this seems to fit. This feels like a tradition that fits the Nebraska way of doing football to a certain extent,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Nobody has in-depthly talked about the single digit thing for as long as we just did there. But it's interesting.
I gave it a lot of thought though. I sat down when that came out. I went like, oh.
I initially didn't like it, and then seeing it made me like it. And it probably makes no sense, but I don't know. I like. What are you rewarding?
Yeah, the incentives matter in life.
Yes. What are you rewarding?
You look at every sector of the world, you name it. You show me the incentive, and I'll pretty much show you the behavior, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's a good incentive.
What are you rewarded? That's good. You show me the incentives. It's the incentives. I'll show you the behavior. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that?
I don't think so.
I like that. That's good. Okay. I think in general,
I certainly didn't.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
Okay. That's.
Did you think of that?
I didn't. No. Okay. So let's get into. Let's start with we're going to do an offensive preview, a defensive preview, talk a little special teams, and then I have a rapid fire fun question thing, and then we'll get out of here. You want to start with the offense?
Yes.
I think generally speaking, are you feeling way more confident in the defense or the offense?
To start out a year, always defense before offense with a new team.
I am the same way. And I think everything that's happened makes me feel even, I think my confidence has dwindled on the offense and not necessarily gotten higher with the defense for that discretion. Like I'm a little worried about the offense, but I guess let's start with the quarterback situation. So your three quarterbacks, Sims, Chuba, Harburg. Sounds like Chuba's kind of had a decent couple of months. And it sounds like Harburg is more of the runner of the two. But let's start with Sims. Like, I remember last year, I'm not so sure. I think we did a thing of like your biggest, we did like our biggest questions or something like that. And I think your biggest question was like, is Casey Thompson good? And
Sims good?
But I'm going back to last year.
Oh, okay.
And I think I bring that up to say, like, I think you could insert that for this year too. Like I don't know where I come out on it. So God damn, he looks the part. I mean, holy shit, okay. He looks the part.
That's a great place to start with him. Is he looks great. He seems like a high, like you just can look at a guy and go, like, seems like a good guy. Seems like
gets
good
it,
looking,
yeah.
6'4", 230, runs fast, has a good arm. I think where I get hung up on him is, and this is maybe taking blurbs from the paper and the words that a coach says too seriously. So I'm gonna put that out there first. I maybe am reading way too far into this, but when a coach says, you know, our goal is we want our quarterbacks throwing 65% in practice, and you know we're getting better, we're still not quite there yet.
Right.
Coming from a guy that's thrown a lot of interceptions, and I think for me, I go, is he a guy that can get there and can be a guy that takes care of the ball, or is he kind of like most people who they kind of are what they are? And I get just that little blurb makes me think he hasn't totally changed himself yet. That blurb tells me he's kind of being what he's been, which is good, but turns it over a lot. Good, not super accurate.
I couldn't agree more.
Eek.
I do think to a certain extent, it's not to say people are who they are for forever, but when you get to this stage of your career, your strengths and weaknesses, you can improve on your weaknesses. It's very hard to eradicate a weakness when you get to this point of your career, if you look at it from a quarterback standpoint. I think he falls under the category of how I always viewed someone like a Tommy Armstrong, where Tommy was good and effective if you used him in the right way. Year one of Riley, they tried to square peg, round hole, make Tommy Armstrong like a pocket passer, and he finished that season second in the country in most interceptions. Yeah. But then the next year, they ran him a little more. They had him in more advantageous situations, and he was a totally different player. So I think Jeff Sims strikes me as one of those guys where there are certain quarterbacks, like regardless of system you put them in, they're going to be good. I think how you use him is everything.
Yeah,
And
I see him like those stretches and boots and things where he's booting and running with high low. I think
yeah,
you just you
keep it simple.
keep it to a half side of the field, get him out of the pocket, move, and just get him in rhythms and make his legs a threat in that in that movement. I just think they're going to have to manufacture some consistency out of him. Like they're going to have to really think, all right, we need to get this guy confident, taking care of the ball and being accurate. So how do we do that? And they need to just simplify and move him and
totally
get him
agreed.
easy completions. If you have him standing back there and I think just like throwing it all over the field, I think he sprays it.
And he's in third and long a lot and all that stuff. I think it's going to be a problem. I think I think, and rather than go like just position by position, I'm just gonna jump into like kind of the whole. I'm gonna jump into the pool here. I think when you look at Sims' skill set and his strengths and weaknesses, and then you look at the rest of the offense, in particular, the depleted wide receiver situation, that's a big concern.
Yeah.
To me, everything points towards running Jeff Sims a lot and probably more than they want to. You made a great point. You're in our last pod, you brought it up, and I'm totally with you. I'm done with the whole idea of like saving someone. Yeah. And I don't know. And maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe if Frank Solich was in here, like, did they go into like the 0-1 season being like, boys, we can't run Crouch that much? And I'm not saying that Sims is Crouch, but what I am saying is like what Crouch did best was tote that thing.
No.
What I'm saying is what does Sims do best? My guess is what he does best is run.
Yeah.
So,
and especially early, like first game, everybody's nervous, nerves are high for Q. Like, I actually think it might benefit everybody to let him run that first game.
Right.
And just give the defense a headache, get us in a rhythm, keep us on the field, settle him down. Like all the things to me, other than like risking getting him hurt and banged up, I think it's all a positive that first game where you just got to get a win and you got to get on settle down.
I don't know. I just think if you do what gives you the best chance to win. And like, I'm trying to look here, and I should have looked this up before. Like, what if you looked at, I guess, is this a lot? Yeah. So Crouch in 2001, his Heisman winning season. So 201, he had 203 carries.
203 carries. Okay.
Over 12 games. That's 16.9 carries a game.
That's running the ball as a QB. That's a lot.
And I guess for me, I'm like, and that was physical running. That is down the line option football, where even on your pitches, you're probably getting your shit lit up.
Yeah. So call it 20 because he's doing 4 of those.
So let's call it 20 carries a game. And I'm not like Eric Crouch won the Heisman, so I'm not. What I'm trying to get at is like, are things so much different now that you can't do that with your quarterback? Explain to me why you could do that with T. Frazier and Scott Frost and Eric Crouch, but you can't do that with Jeff Sims.
I think the only difference maybe is a little bit the offense it's not true like power option football. So those guys they're maybe not like running back. I don't know if it's even the word tough. Like it's like they don't have that sort of like that guy's not built to do that many runs. So
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
I guess, I don't want to get us too buried in the minutia of the specifics here. I'm more doing like the spirit of my point is like somewhere along the line, we've been like, well, you can't run your quarterback too much. You can't. And it's like, well, you could in 1995. You could in 2001. Is football, if anything, I would argue you take less big shots today, if Jeff Sims,
you can't hit Jeff Sims.
You can't hit Jeff Sims the way people could hit Eric Crouch.
Yeah.
So I guess, and
I guess the only argument against it is like, because you can't tee off on them, you want them back in the pocket more or something.
No, I'm saying what I'm trying to argue for is like everybody's afraid of running a quarterback a lot
and getting him hurt.
And I'm like, and it's easy to sit here from not being the head coach and not having to be the guy to take those shots, all those stuff. I understand the position that I'm in and how easy it is for me to say that. But I guess I'm like kind of pushing back on this whole idea of like, you got to be careful.
I understand why. Like, I guess every situation is different. And I think if the situation is we got to win, I do think you're right. There should be no like line in the sand where we can't do anymore. It's like the line is whatever it takes to win. And if you're Ohio State and you got a quarterback that's going to be a first round draft pick and you're going to be playing in the Big Ten title game, probably you're thinking about later in the year. And I understand thinking about later in the year because you've got the goods to sort of lean elsewhere.
Right.
And we would too, if we could. If
sure,
we could,
I suppose,
we would.
Right.
Like, T. Frazier ran a lot, but a lot of those games he probably did just get to hand it off because he could.
Right.
And we were fine. But I think right now we're not in a position where we can dictate this is how many carries we need today because we're worried about now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess that's
worried about this for you. Like right now we're not in that position. Our position is we can't win. We got to do whatever it takes to win.
And I've one of my favorite guys to read and listen to talk about Nebraska football is Sam McEwen because he really makes me think. And there are times I completely agree with Sam, and there are times I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. And he's made this point on how there's a correlation between running your quarterback and turnovers, which, that's hard to argue over the last decade. I also think some of that is like, is it that or is it the player? You know what I mean? Like
Adrian coughed it up.
Taylor Martinez coughed it up.
Yeah.
So yeah. I just because one guy, I don't know, but he brought up a point of like, if you get into that Minnesota game and you don't feel like if Matt Rule feels like this is a game that they can get when they get into it, and then you maybe got to turn Sims loose a little more and run them. And then I think like if the other way, if you get into it, like, I don't know if we can win this game, let's not run them very much. Like, I think that's a weird place to be in as a coach where you're like, this game feels like a lost cause. Let's not run. Now, I'm not.
I mean, if the game's over,
it's over.
If you're like down by a score and you're like, that's where I don't know. I mean,
and I don't want to put words in Sam's mouth, but I think the spirit of what he's getting at is kind of like feeling the game out. And what I'm trying to get at, and I'm maybe not doing a good job of explaining. I just think we're good.
It's tricky.
It's tricky, but I also think it's not at the same time. What does Jeff Sims do best? If it's run, and that's what gives the best chance for this offense to move the ball, you have to run him.
Yeah, I'm more on your side than not. I mean, the argument for not getting your starting quarterback hurt, yeah, I get it. Like I don't need to have that explained to me, but like I do need to have someone explain to me why under certain circumstances you don't sell out to win, and that's the part where people explain that away too easily, and I go, no, that's not. That I'm not that easy of a sell on that.
Right.
I need to be sold harder that we're not going to do everything to win this game.
Because I'm looking at, and again, I love how I'm using a Heisman Trophy winning season with what I believe is one of the best running quarterbacks the college game has seen. But Crouch,
Jeff Sims is
and
a
I think Jeff is
Jeff Sims walks next to Eric Crouch. You go, ooh, I bet that guy's like I mean,
right.
like.
But I guess I'm looking at his at his rushing attempt log here, Crouch.
Yeah,
his season low of attempts running the ball was 12 against Rice. His high was 24 against TCU. But I mean, it's 24, 15, 14, 12, 17, 15, 18, 21, 13, 13, 23, 18.
What was the score of that TCU game? Is it possible that it shows up there?
I don't see it,
My
unfortunately.
guess is that was a close game.
I wonder if that game was closer than you think.
I bet you they said, Eric, go win that game. Things weren't going well. This would be interesting. That'd be like, if you can look, if it's like 64 to nothing and Eric had 24, it's like they ran him a lot for blowing him out. But that usually doesn't happen.
21-7.
Okay. It was a grinder.
So it's one of those games that they probably had to
was.
grind that thing out.
Guarantee
And they said, EC's got to take us home.
Yeah.
And
that's a grinder game.
So I don't know. We can move on. I just will be fascinated. I think one of the most interesting things about this offense, with the obvious interesting thing, is like, what the hell is it going to look like in general? But just, I'm so interested. How much do they run Sims? What do the runs look like? How does that get managed? Especially given the fact that you have a wide receiver situation with Xavier Betts now out of the equation that is concerning, to say the least. I look at the picture of, like, I look at this offense and I go, you need to run Sims. You need to give him easy throws. I think some of these wide receiver issues, I could see a lot more two and maybe 3 tight ends on the field at the same time. From a quarterback's perspective, a comforting thing is throwing to a big ass 6'6", 250-pound target, on a boot, on a little, a sit down into a zone, put it right on his big ass chest. And that gets you in a rhythm.
And your boy Fedoni's having a good camp by all accounts. And I think that's important for him to get through a full camp of just so many reps. So there's something that happens from the first day of camp till the season that gets your body ready to, like, really play football. You have to have all these little, you got to go through every little cut, 1,000 reps, this and that, catch the ball. And then, like, you break it down, but then you're like in football mode, where then you're like, okay, I've like reset everything.
For sure.
If you sit out camp, right, and then you go play football, like, you are fresh and you're probably just as fast as you were, but you haven't done all those little, you know what I mean? It's
for sure. Yeah.
It's like you haven't dribbled a basketball.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
It's just like you don't got the handles.
Right.
So, like, Fedoni's finally getting a full camp, healthy, getting the reps with the ones. This is his chance to be a player now.
I think he's going to have a monster year.
I think he needs to get a game or two under his belt, and then he's not going to be, then he can just play.
Right.
It's like when you haven't done it, you're trying too hard, and when you try too hard, you hurt yourself.
And it's unfortunate. It sounds like Eric Gilbert, there's still that waiver process that hasn't come through. It's like, give me a break. But you got Borkature as well.
Borkature looks like he's gotten bigger.
Yes. I just think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets out there.
Without receivers, you got to. Though.
Yes. And so that's the thing. I mean, the wide receiver situation, Marcus Washington got hurt in camp. There's an expectation he's going to be okay for that first game, but
coming off a broken hand,
coming off a hand problem.
That's those drops. I'm just telling you, like,
right.
He hasn't caught the balls,
Is it his first down hand, or which? Then you got Garcia Castaneda as well, and then you got a bunch of either walk-ons or newcomers. You got Fleeks, Doss, Malachi Coleman, Jalen Lloyd, the West Side speedster. There's going to be some freshman is going to have to play a pretty substantial amount of football. And then you got your walk-on guys and Alex Bullock from Creighton Prep and Ty Hahn from Johnson Brock, who was in that 8-man football.
Yeah, he was like a guy I was kind of excited about coming out of high school. I thought he was a guy that it was a little quiet from him the last couple of years. I thought he was a guy that was going to like pop just because he seemed like he was like one of those guys that was just like almost like a Westerkamp type. But it's good to see him. They say that Bullock is the best route runner on the team.
Heard that too. Yep.
But in the end, it's like, I hate having to rely on freshmen. It's like the thought is like, oh yeah, look at this guy, look at his measurables, he'll contribute. And then you realize, like, it's just once you get them there and they don't know what they're doing, they don't know the tricks of the trade yet.
Yeah.
They have to spend a year learning it. They get a year stronger. And then the next year it's like, oh, who's that guy? It's just a totally different person.
And, hopefully not everybody can be Todd Peterson. A walk on.
Yeah.
I mean, Todd, you're around Todd. Todd's big.
He's all of 6'4".
He's all of 6'4". He's long. He's he's not skinny. Like he's a big dude. And they don't make a lot of walk on from Grand Island. Here comes Todd Peterson that you're going to be able to throw out on the field, and he's going to be a good player. Yeah. But hopefully, you hear good things about Hahn. You hear good things about Bullock.
They've had a couple years now.
That helps.
Like, but the point is, like, I think you can trust that guy before you can trust the freshman. You take the walk-on fourth year guy versus the freshman with the big, like, not everybody's Wandale. Like, yeah, Wandale's Wandale. Like, he's ready to go. But, like, Coleman was not a mid-year guy either. Was a summer guy. So that hurts, I think, not being able to be. Am I right on that?
Coleman?
Was he a mid-year enrollee?
I don't think he was.
I thought he wasn't.
I don't think he was, but I may be wrong on that.
But, like, let's say he's our most talented guy. Like, that extra spring ball and winter weightlifting helps those
for sure.
guys. But, like, it's hard to rely on freshmen. I'm actually going to go in this year. Like, I know we need somebody to step up. My expectations are probably nobody's going to be there to really help. Maybe later in the year, but
you know what this whole situation screams to do? Like, if I were Minnesota, I would just, and it has to fit within your defensive scheme, but whatever version of your defensive scheme is this, I would say Jeff Sims and you wide receivers that really haven't ever done it, you're going to have to throw for 350 yards and hit a bunch of bombs to win. And I am going to load the box. I am going to press cover, Dawson, Coleman, and say Sims. Like, that would be how I would approach, especially early.
And Marcus Washington, like you said, has never been really a deep threat.
And Isaiah, that's not really
Garcia. Kemp's not. So, like, you got all these guys. Like, I would be pressing all of those guys. So you could blitz, load the box, and then you could kind of press those dudes.
Well, because was it 2019 where Nebraska just couldn't, their wide receivers were not capable of, like, taking the top off the defense? It was the 19 team, wasn't it? Or it might have been 20, where their wide receivers were incapable of there really was.
That was
not
the 19. That was when it was like Cade Warner was our only, like, I mean, like, we had nobody. It was like Wandale got hurt, and then everybody else was just like, you couldn't even, like, couldn't.
So I am worried about now. I think Billy Kemp's a really good player, but I think Billy Kemp is not he's not a big play guy. So be interested to see what happens with that wide receiver situation. Running back, real quick. See, Gabe Irvin got the nod, and we have beachfront property on Gabe Irvin Island, and we have not given it up yet.
From the first time we saw him, we're like, this guy.
Something about that guy.
Yeah, and it's kind of good to see that they feel so strongly about him. They named him the starter over Grant, who was the bell cow last year.
Exactly. And
that's a big statement. That's a big statement.
Well, I've said, to me, to win the number one job 2 different times in 2 scenarios where you are not the incumbent.
Yeah.
And with 2 different coaching staffs and 2 different offenses, like, there's got to be something there.
He does everything right. Like, he came out of like what I would call like a true running back offense, where, like, it was like I formation, you are a running back. It's less of the spread, like you're just getting your little zone reads. Yeah. It's like you are a running back. You're running powers, and you're running, like, he can do all that stuff. So not that Anthony Grant didn't come from the same system, but Gabe Irvin is like a big dude that is a running back.
Right.
And I just think Irvin's seems pretty complete to me, where I like Grant too. I think Grant's
I know that's
tough,
what's hard.
Man.
Apparently
Grant's
he's been fumbling it too much. And then you have the Michael Myers of the running back room, Ramir Johnson. It's just no matter what, Ramir is going to factor in and he's going to get on the field, and you love it. So it sounds like he's the third down back. Gabe Irvin's the number 1 guy. We'll see. I mean, Gabe Irvin is going to get an opportunity here, and at some point he's got to, like, deliver. Yeah. If he gets 16 18, 19, 20 carries against Minnesota. Like,
Yeah.
let's see what you can do, big dog. But again, I don't know if I love any of those guys, but I think that's a pretty decent trio of guys.
I think with Grant and Irvin and Johnson, I mean, to me, it's you got to feel pretty comfortable. I mean, nobody's a wow guy. Grant was good. He was solid. I mean, we were like, this is a good player.
Especially early.
You remember the hit he put on the guy from Rutgers?
Yes.
That changed the game. He won that game with that hit.
Right.
Just absolutely just brought the physical, knocks this guy out, changes the game. He's a good player. He's our backup. So that means that Irvin is proved himself to be, more reliable and potentially better. So like, I feel pretty good about running back. It's not going to be great, but I think we could call that like a solid, just having a solid
totally
trust
agree
in that.
And it'll be interesting to see with the O-line. I mean, it's I think Ben Scott will help. Noelle being back will help. Hopefully Teddy Penio down will stay healthy. It's largely the same cast of characters. It'll be fascinating to see what happens where Rule has not been shy in praising Donovan Raiola, but we saw what that group looked like last year. I got to see it first with them.
Yeah. I mean, Scott's a big help.
I think Scott's going to make a big difference. I mean, you got a real center that has played real. I mean, in the Pac-12, like it makes a difference. And then hopefully I say it's the same cast of characters, but there's a chance you have Ben Scott wasn't there last year, experience. You have Teddy Penio down, healthy.
Yeah.
And then you have Noelle. I can never say his last name. Noelle, and he was suspended all of last year.
Yeah. And Piper's a year older, and he's been getting a lot of pub.
He was who went to Big Ten Media Days.
Yeah. So he's doing something right. Cause I think he maybe made the single digit.
I think he did, but he can't. Yeah. So
that says something though, right?
For sure.
That tells you something. That's why the single digits are nice. It tells you something.
That's it. So I don't know. I mean, I sit there and go, it's like, it's the same guys. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like three of the five could be different.
3 of the 5 are different. And then between Corcoran, Piper, Benhart, and Teddy Penio, like they've played.
You said Teddy Penio down in all sincerity.
Well, that's his name, isn't it?
It is Teddy Penio down. Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
And I'll tell you, it's a good sign too. Is Gatula, Sam Sledge, like you got young guys they're really high on. Like those guys are lined up as the backups. That's always a really good sign to me.
For sure.
When the young guys on the offensive line are already like potential guys that could step in and play, that's rare. That's just like, that's hard to do because just the physical nature of being an offensive lineman, you usually need 2 or 3 years, just get strong and big and eat your 10,000 calories a day for 2 years. But, it's impressive. Those 2 young guys they're penciled in as left tackle, left guard. Left tackle, left guard. That's usually, that's where you want your big boys,
Overall, I mean, do you think, is this going to be a ball control, huddle up, like snap the ball with 8 on the play clock, kind of a run it?
If I had to guess, my guess is our base, which you will see if we are in a position to dictate. If we can control it.
Yep.
We're not going to be quite Minnesota, but I think we're going to try to control the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to bring in the 2 tights, bring in a fullback occasionally.
Yeah.
And we'll use that 12, that 22, that 21 personnel a lot more than we've had in the last. I mean, we've done so much 10 and 11 personnel. And I think we're going to do more of that. We're going to huddle. And then they said that the occasional, we're going to no huddle, speed it up. That's fine. Everybody's going to do that. I think the base will not be, we're going to spread and go fast. I think they're going to huddle and go slow. I think they're going to try to,
that's what I think too. I cannot wait to see it. I cannot wait to talk to you after these first games just to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
But it does. It's what Satterfield and Rule said they wanted to do with this team. And then to me, the personnel lends itself to being like, control the clock, slow it down, run the ball,
muck these games up a little bit.
Muck these things up a little bit. So we'll see. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball. how are you? The more I've gotten to know Tony White and thought about the 3-3-5, the more, and I hear people like Jerry DiNardo talk about it, the more I get excited about it. I've said all the time that I think Nebraska needs to be different. And one of the things that was tough to prepare for over the course of 20, 30 years was the option. It was a unique thing. It was hard to simulate in practice. I think the 3-3-5 can be like that. Overall, my excitement level to watch the 3-3-5 has gone up, and my respect level for Tony White has gone up. But at the same time, I just want to see it stop the run and see what it looks like. That's going to get tested right away. How are you feeling about the D line? I guess we'll start with like
Robinson, Hutmasher, and Gunnarsson. Feel fine about those guys. And this Linehart, they're excited enough about a freshman.
Yeah.
That he's a co-starter. I think it's fine. I think depth is going to get interesting. We got two true freshmen as our two backup ends. I mean, this Linehart, like I said, I'm excited about him, but he's also a freshman. This Princewell.
I heard someone say his name. It's when you hear it said right, it's very easy to pronounce. Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman.
It's Prince Uma Thurman. Prince Uma Thurman is.
Oh, it's Prince Will, not Prince Well. Prince Will.
Prince Will.
Fresh Prince Will.
Fresh Prince Will.
Fresh Prince will smack you. We'll call him Fresh Will. Fresh Prince Will.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you really need Jason Peter Jr. and the polar bear to stay healthy. You really need Gunnarsson.
Otherwise, we don't have size. I mean, Judy's a guy that I don't know what he is. And he's the only other guy with size. Ruquan Buckley, they've talked about him a little bit, but like I'm not counting on Ruquan. And Judy, I don't know. I don't know what to make of him. I just haven't heard a ton about him. And he was a big time transfer for us. So that was like, that tells you like I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Right.
So I think between Hutmasher needs to be better. He just needs to have taken his lane.
And Robinson does. We talked about that most important Huskers thing. Like, if at the end of the year, we're not talking about Ty Robinson being like a
stud,
dog,
this
defense is going to be in trouble.
Yeah. He's got to be good. And Hutmasher has to be better because Hutmasher's super strong, but he needs to find that like football thing that, hey, I'm going to now transfer that and be that guy on the field. Because we need him to be really good. He's playing in that nose. He's got to just own that nose. I
cannot wait to see what this defense looks like. And then the linebacking core, I'm kind of getting excited about the trio of Reimer, who the more I think of him in the 3-3-5, I think it's going to suit him well.
Yes, it will.
Henrich, who is back and healthy, and it sounds like has had a good camp.
Yep.
And then this Josh Bullock. Seems like he got a single digit.
He got a single, but is Sherman starting over him?
That's right. I think Sherman is, but like, I'm excited that there's like, you got a guy in Bullock there that like got voted one of the toughest dudes on the team.
Yeah.
But I think this MJ Sherman's got some talent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because Jamari Butler, Chief Borders, you got guys, it's hard to
We'll see.
It's hard to position them like where, but
we don't even know how it's going to look.
I don't know what it's going to look like.
Tricky,
I don't know how many of those dudes can be on the field at the same time.
Henrich and Reimer, Sherman and Bullock. Between those four, they're all going to be playing, and like you feel pretty good about them.
I'm excited. I think Reimer, Henrich, MJ Sherman, those guys, like I feel pretty good about the linebackers right now.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair to say.
And I think I don't know. Henrich, not great sideline to sideline.
He's played a lot of football.
A lot of football, but I think Reimer is. I think Reimer can run. But no, I like Henrich. I'm a believer in Henrich.
He's a healthy Reimer again.
So I'm feeling actually pretty good about the linebackers, and there's a lot of reason to like the secondary. They got a lot of dudes coming back. Deshaun Singleton, did you see that? Matt Rule went on the radio and said that he's going to be a starter and has had an amazing camp.
Yep.
Which is that was someone needed to emerge there.
Yeah, because with Farmer leaving, we needed somebody to sort of step up, and that's good that he's stepping up. And then Gifford, like it's weird on this thing they list him at Rover, but like I thought he's more like a true safety.
That's what I thought. But I am really at the point right now, if someone was like, get out your number 2 pencils. It's time for the 3-3-5 quiz.
Oh, no, I didn't study last night.
I
overslept.
Your boy be doing the whole, like, I'll be peeking over at, like, Sam McEwen's answers. Like,
pop quiz. We're like, no.
Oh, he's a rover. Sam.
Yeah,
Sam, is it A? It's A. No,
I try to get to a practice every year. I haven't gotten to go to a practice this year. I just want to go see it.
I know.
I want to see, okay, how they line up in like if it's a base 3-3-5, like, okay, let me see this rover. Where's he at? Where is he? How does he adjust? I just want to see the adjustment.
I can't wait to see it. But I guess just like you start listing players, and I just want you to tell me if you feel good about them. Like good about them on the field. Not necessarily trying to say you think they're like baller, amazing players, but I'm just going to give you some names and you go like, yeah, I feel good about him. Or I'm like, I don't know. Quentin Newsom.
Good.
Malcolm Hartzog.
Good.
Isaac Gifford.
Good.
Luke Reimer.
Good.
Nick Henrich.
Good.
Ty Robinson.
Good.
Like I could keep going, but like there's a lot of guys where you're like, I feel comfortable with them on the field.
I feel good with them. If you say Hutmatcher, Gunnarsson, MJ Sherman, Omar Brown, I say, I don't know if I feel good.
Those are question mark. Yeah, but I
just don't know them. They're my question marks. And Singleton, I've never seen a snap of him play. So like, but the majority are goods. I think that's the part that's probably a positive is you go, we've had a lot of reps. We got some reps there.
And so for me, without knowing what the 3-3-5 looks like, my brain and how I'm assessing things goes to the oversimplified what I just did, where I'm like, well, I feel good about that guy. I feel pretty good about that guy. I feel pretty good about that guy. I feel pretty good about that guy. And so you stack enough of those up. Hopefully Tony White can scheme it to where it's okay. We'll see. I just think the D line, even though it's a 3-3-5, like if Ty Robinson and the Polar Bear and Blaze and those guys aren't good players or have a bad year or get hurt, yikes.
Yeah.
But I still feel good about a lot, like the whole back, the back 8, for lack of a better term. Like I feel good about a lot of those guys.
Yeah, I don't feel like terrible about the defense at all. I just it's sort of like I don't know. I don't know which team to compare it to, but like the more you look at it, I feel a little bit better, I think.
I do too, but I don't want to fall. The more I look at this, the more I look at the defense, the more I feel better about it. But the problem is there are two concerns or questions, and they amplify each other. The two concerns are, I don't know how good the D line is, and I don't know what the 3-3-5 looks like stopping the run.
Yeah.
And to me, those two things, like, it's like, what do you put? Is it what's a Coke bottle and you put like a
Mentos in it?
A Mentos. It's like, to me, it's like 3-3-5's the Coke bottle, concerns with the D line, and it's like,
yeah. That's an interesting. That's interesting.
You like it?
I think I like it. Hey, you could have said that if I didn't have been like, that's a great analogy.
But I'm picturing Matt Ruud, like, our guest speaker today is Nick Bahe. Bring him up here. And I'm like, all right. I come out. I have a lab coat on. I have goggles. And I'm like, here's the problem, man. 3-3-5. This Mentos is the D line. Look what happens if it's not right.
This is your life.
This is your life. If it doesn't go well, Coca-Cola everywhere. Man, Ruud, thanks for the time. They'll be like, give it up for him, everybody.
Motivational speaker.
I don't know what I even proved there.
Here's what I'd say.
Everybody loves a good Mentos in the Coke bottle thing.
That's what I was thinking before. I was thinking the same thing. The first thing I thought of this defense was Mentos in a Coke bottle. Makes perfect sense. I mean,
how have I not gotten hired as a studio analyst for football? I don't know.
I'm thinking this is a Mentos and a Coke bottle situation, folks.
We got a Mentos Coke bottle situation with this defense. But okay. Anything else with the defense other than the Mentos Coke bottle thing?
I would just say that right now, like, we don't look like there's like a bunch of playmakers necessarily. It's a little bit more just like we look like we're solid, but like it's not going to be a dynamic defense.
But and this is what is so fascinating about this. I think the scheme lends itself to that.
Might help
so
us.
maybe the scheme can help manufacture that.
Yeah.
We'll see. Real quick, special teams. There's kind of been a battle between Tristan Alvano and Bleak Road for that kicker spot. Alvano had that unbelievable state championship game where dude was just like, even Adam Vinatieri was like, this guy's good. So we'll see what happens there. Brian Buschini apparently is like really bought into like nutrition and stuff. He's just like, I've heard like Buschini's like super jacked now, which is kind of
these kickers. It's like, what else are they going to do? Like,
why not get
they
jacked?
all should be.
Why not get jacked?
Yeah. You just get to work out all day and everybody else is like beating themselves up.
Do you ever
just lift?
Do you ever watch I watch those like the Hard Knock stuff and I see like meals made for them and like they're like testing their hydration and I'm like, can someone do that for me?
Really nice, wouldn't it?
I would love that. The returners, Billy Kemp's going to return punts. I kind of feel like he could get saucy. Kickoff returner, I don't know.
Boy, Tommy Hill's going back.
Call for it. I vote Tommy Hill for just the hilarity of it. Like,
he thinks he's going.
He is going to. I think Tommy Hill watches Dante Hall highlights before he goes to bed every night. He's just like, he brought it out 8 deep. Why can't I? You're like, I agree, Tommy Hill. I'm all in on that.
Irrational confidence.
Okay, rapid fire to wrap it up, and then we're getting out of here.
Okay.
Just going to go, who's going to lead Nebraska in certain statistical categories? Okay. Some of it's pretty easy, but it's, you never know. Leading passer, Jeff Sims.
Yep.
Leading rusher, Gabe Ervin. Are you hold on. You have beachfront property on Gabe Ervin Island, but you're telling me you are going to leave it vacant?
So easy. Doesn't that seem so easy?
It does. I don't know how it's not Gabe Ervin, but at the same time, like,
I just don't know. Like he's. I don't want to jinx him.
I'm going to say Gabe Ervin.
It's the right answer.
It's the right answer. He's the number one.
Like if we buy the property,
we got to go there.
Let's go live in the property. I won't jinx him.
Leading receiver,
Billy
Sean Kemp. Who's going to lead the team in touchdowns? This is where you could get a double miss. If you're wrong on it, because I would pick Ervin.
Sims.
Are you going Jeff Sims?
Or Ervin? No, Ervin.
But here's the thing: is there's a world where if Ervin doesn't hit, we just played roulette and they've taken all our shit. And we going back to the ATM.
I love everything you're doing, bro. I love everything.
I'm going to go Ervin, though.
Okay.
I'm playing roulette. I hit. We up in that thing. Lead the team in tackles. Say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Reimer. Okay. Sacks.
Not Hutmasher.
I'm going Jason Peter Jr.
I'll take.
Or in a 3-3-5, is it like an MJ Sherman Reimer? Is one of those guys that comes and hits like Euro steps through the line.
It will
like
be the
stunt.
Jack, so that would be MJ Sherman or Chief Border. So
I
would say Sherman or Gunnarsson are the ones you'd want to pick.
So would Ty Robinson not get very many sacks in this defense?
Well, in the nickel situation, he'll move inside.
Okay.
Which puts it's just harder. It's harder to get sacks versus on the edge. I would say you probably want to go with Sherman or Gunnarsson. I would say
I'd go Sherman.
Let's go Sherman.
Yeah, I'd get you Sherman on it. I'll go Jason Peter Jr., even though that doesn't make any sense with this defense.
No, that's good. I mean, he has a chance. I mean, if he gets 4 or 5 sacks, that's it.
Yeah.
Crick got like 11 that one year.
That's true. Crick. Shouts out to Jerry Crick. I know he's a big listener. I at least hope he is. Interceptions.
Malcolm Harzog.
I put Newsom, but I put Hartzog on at first, and then I thought, like, is that stupid?
Harzog's just a little ball hawk. He just is the guy, Nick, that the ball goes to him. And Newsom's probably better. Hartzog gets the
ball. I have not officially submitted my ballot. Can I change it to Hartzog? Because that's how I initially put it.
Because he's that guy.
I felt like, he
just is that guy. He gets picks.
He does. He's like you. You just get the ball.
There's a magnet there. They know it. They just have a sense. They smell it.
Okay, and then this doesn't really make sense, but it's interesting to guess it. MVP. Sims? Or do we have to choose someone else other than the quarterback? Is it more interesting if we exclude Sims?
Yes.
Or is there a world where it's got to be Sims?
If it's Sims, if we win, if we can't say quarterbacks, I think it's Urban or gave Irvin or Jason Peter Jr.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Because the nicknames are already rolling.
The nicknames are great. I can't wait for this season to get going.
That's the best part of the whole.
It's the best. These nicknames are just the best.
I hope people enjoy them as much.
I
as we do.
really enjoy them, but I think my Mentos Coke bottle thing is good.
We might have to do that. Do it on air sometime. If the game goes bad, it's like, I see what happened. There it is. I don't know if it makes any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I think it did though. Okay, so if I can't choose Jeff Sims, I think I would choose Reimer.
That's good. That'd be the.
I'm gonna get my Reimer on.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna go Reimer. Breakout star. I'm going my guy. No.
Oh.
Fedoni.
Oh.
I think
okay.
Fedoni is just.
He's ready.
Dude, he's 6'6", 250. He runs like in the 4.5s. He was the #1 tight end.
I know.
Recruit. Those guys usually play on Sundays. You see clips of him and he just looks like a freaking monster.
I'm gonna take a big swing here and buy into the hype train. Oh no, I shouldn't do. He's a freshman. I shouldn't do that. This Leinart, no, he's not ready.
I think my honorable mention breakout star would be can you give it to MJ Sherman? Would he be
sure. Yeah, you could do that.
I don't know. But I'm going for
I just haven't seen him enough. I don't know. I haven't seen him enough. I don't feel good. You know,
Fedoni's going to show up to the last game in like a convertible. His season went so well. He's in a convertible with the license plate that just says Fedoni on it. He gets out. He's holding a cheese runza. Everybody's screaming. That's what's going to happen this season. Okay.
Hey, I'll go with it.
All right. Anything else until I guess the next time we probably chat is going to be after the Minnesota game.
And we better get your Mentos.
Oh, Mentos Coke bottle.
A Hurrdat Sports Network production.